I will say this. I want to know why you're not wearing one of those new flashy shirts.
Do you see? Those are sharp, man.
I saw them.
I was pumped how they turned out. And man, that turned into I first started talking to you guys. I was like, shit, we only need, I don't know, 20, 30 maybe, and then my
that
cousin's
escalated
like,
quickly.
Yeah, my cousin's like, you should put something on Facebook. And it turned, we're well over 100 now. I would guess 120 somewhere we've made.
Probably. So, I know I called the shop that day. They were printing them. Olivia's like, yeah, I'm printing 100 shirts. I'm a little busy.
Yeah, like you said, that escalated quickly, but it's cool. So that became one more thing that I wish I would have delegated to somebody else instead of taking the reins on that. Because now I got a list of people, and some of them we're gonna have to mail out. And
well, they were fancy though. They did come out really nice.
Yeah. I was super happy with it, and it was cool, because a lot of times you order shirts and it's like, you just get one color basically, like we'll get all gray ones or whatever. But doing it with you guys, I was able to kind of show people your website and what colors you guys have in stock, and then we were able to pick from that. I mean, turned it into a little bit more of a pain in the ass, because one orange, one blue, 3 green, that type of stuff. But it, kind of makes it a little more customized too, rather than just ordering 100 gray t-shirts. So.
Right. So, yeah, it gives a little variety. I mean, and that's the nice thing about it, is being able to mix and match.
Yeah.
Because, I'm always, like, I don't know how, like, not doing it in bulk, like, people can afford to just go to a print shop and have them made and then try to sell them. Like, it's crazy what the print shops are charging now.
Yeah, you can't hardly. I mean, no, you can't hardly do it. And I mean, had I known that it was going to wind up being over 100, that would have opened up our options a little bit. But yeah, if you just want a dozen or 20 or something, I mean, for one thing, most print shops probably are going to be like, I'm not even going to waste my time on that, and if they are wasting their time on it, well, you're going to be paying for it.
Yeah. They're making up that money no matter what.
Exactly. I'm going to get my money somehow. So. But yeah, it worked out well. Thank you guys for doing that, and hopefully I didn't drive Olivia too crazy.
You haven't worn your welcome out yet.
Oh, I felt bad. I'd send her, okay, this is a final list. Well, then you get 3-4 people.
And
can I still sneak? Yeah, I'm like, son of a bitch. I already told her it was.
I told her this was the last time 3 times ago.
Exactly. So, okay, I promise this time is the last time. And then
that's
somebody else.
I saw that on the last email. I promise this is it.
Yeah. But
no, I'm glad it worked out. It went pretty quick too. I mean, really, from the time you guys started.
And I told her, I know W's, one of your big hang your hat on thing is we're going to get that order out that day. And I kind of told her, like, dude, you don't got to play this that way. Like, I understand what I'm asking here. And if it takes you a week, it takes you a week. I mean, no big rush on this stuff. And then she sent me an email. I was like, we got the prints in. And then like 3 hours later, she sends me an email with all the shipping stuff. I'm like, okay, you didn't have to do that, but thank you.
Oh yeah.
So
no, she was cranking, man. Like she was flat cranking to get those shirts out. But it's cool that we can offer it now. I mean, between that and the stickers, we've been doing a lot of custom sticker work too lately.
Yeah, that's
some of the other podcasts out there are looking at getting some done, and
cool.
It's cool to offer. So, I mean, this is my selfish plug. I will say, anybody looking at doing like kennel apparel, stickers, any kind of the shirts, get a hold of us. Because all of a sudden 20 turns into 100.
Yeah. And I told her too, I'm like,
on a cricket.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I understand you guys got to make money on this, so I trust you.
And
whatever you think's a fair price. Oh yeah, for sure, very reasonable.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say if anybody's looking at doing kennel stuff, promoting your kennel or business or whatever, get a hold of us. We're trying like the stickers and stuff to beat or meet, like some of the other sticker companies without having to do 1,500 stickers.
Yeah.
We need 1,500 some days, but
Yeah.
average Joe Blow, if you're wanting to get 100 stickers made up, that's not a big deal. We can get them cranked out pretty fast.
So one thing I'll ask you that I'm sure other people are going to be wondering, and I think I know the answer to this, but do you guys do anything as far as like designing logos and stuff like that? Because with me, I already had the logo made, so I just
Mm-hmm.
sent it to you and Olivia, and here, this is what I want on the shirt. But if somebody that has a kennel and kind of wants to develop something like that, I mean, do you guys
Mm-hmm.
do any of
We
that
have
or have
access to
somebody?
it.
Sure.
Yeah, if somebody's looking to get something made, I mean, we have resources for that. We've got a graphic designer on call, basically. So
Sure.
if you're needing like ground up logo work, yeah, we could definitely look at getting a quote and things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, yours was already done. Who did yours?
I actually was just a guy I found on Instagram. I had been seeing a bunch of his stuff out there, and man, I'm gonna butcher his name, but he's out west there somewhere. Um, and I had seen some logos he did, and I thought he did a really good job, so I just reached out to him here a couple years ago. Adam von Wagenen is his name. Um,
I'm gonna
yeah, I mean,
butcher
and
that too.
yeah, but I thought he did a really good job with it. I just kind of gave him an idea of what I wanted, and actually, that dog that's part of our logo is a dog, that we had. I just happen to have like the perfect side profile shot
Perfect
of this
picture.
dog. Yeah, exactly. And and it's kind of cool
Yeah.
now because looking at that picture, I can tell it's that dog. And my
Right.
cousin Chris can tell it's that dog, but he looks a lot like
Mm-hmm.
our, quote unquote Ellwinger blue ticks, and then we're just kind of
Yeah.
trying to incorporate the different things we hunt into it, and he kind of came up with that, and I really liked it. So
No, it came out killer, man.
yeah.
That's the end of my plug for now. But I did see him when you messaged me like, oh, we got some extras. I'm like, crap, I'm gonna have to tell Olivia to set one back for me.
Yep. Like I said, scoop them up. I imagine now.
No.
Well, and the good thing about this, like I told Olivia, my goal was to have a few extra prints there
Sure.
because I'll have somebody 6 months or 3 months, what you name it, like, oh, I want one of them sweatshirts. Well, I'm not going to place an order of 20 or 50 or whatever for one, but if
Right.
you guys have some of those prints left there or whatever, and we want to get just one shirt or something, it's it's possible now. So
Right. Yeah, the transfers make a big difference in like availability.
for
Really,
sure.
the limiting factor at that point is finding shirt colors and sizes in stock. But
Yep.
we've got good suppliers. I mean, and obviously we're known for having a million different shirts and
Sure.
sweatshirts and all that logo wear. So I mean, we've got pretty good access to all that still.
Cool.
But well, shoot,
Yeah, it
man.
was.
I guess we should quit sales pitching here for a second. But you you got some big news. I mean, I want to hear all about this because I know you were like we were texting back and forth before your test.
Yeah.
How awesome was that, man?
Man, it was pretty cool. I think it's kind of finally sank in here now that I'm back to hunting. Just going out and having fun and not stressing out about this test. But um, it was definitely kind of a surreal day, I should say. And I mean, it's one of them things like I'm familiar enough with it and knew that going through the different aspects of the test, like I think she passed, but it's, until the
Right.
scores are read and everything, I was still nervous as hell, I mean, and even though there was, numerous people that saw Jade and myself run throughout the day, are like, oh man, you got yourself a VC there, and it's like, well, let's just wait and
Don't
see.
jinx this.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll screw up our scorecard, mix it in with somebody else's or whatever. But yeah, let's just
Yeah,
wait
right.
and wait until the scores are read, and I know for sure. It was
Did it
like I
go?
said.
I mean, kind of as you planned. I mean, obviously it went as you planned, but like you were concerned about her blind retrieve. Like there were pieces of that test that you were really going out of your way and working on and moving bodies of water and trying to
Yeah.
get her prepped. How did she do in that part? Like as good as you were expecting or better?
I mean, she absolutely nailed that. But so
That's
there's
awesome.
there's three different locations and aspects of the test that you start out at, and you don't know where you're going to start until that
It's like a
morning when you get
rotation, right?
when you get your draw order. And I get my card and I look down and sure as shit, we're starting out at the blind retrieve. So I text my wife and I'm like, well, just jokingly, I said, well, I guess I'll find out if we get to go home early or not because, if she bombs that, well,
Bomb's the first one. We're headed out.
yeah, well, I mean, obviously you wouldn't leave. You'd still go through the rest of it, but it would be
Yeah.
kind of a bummer of a day because if you bomb out on that, yeah, the rest of it's pretty much you're just going through the motions at that point. You're not really playing for
Yeah.
anything. But I think we were the eighth dog, and I had saw the water ahead of time, and um, you know, I I didn't want to say it looked easy, but I felt like the water was easier than stuff we had been training. So, in my mind, I'm
Sure.
thinking, well, man, these last few pieces of water I've had her at, she's nailed, and it looks tougher. But I mean, you say that, and a dog can make you look pretty stupid in a hurry. I mean, so I was
Like that.
exactly. So I was a little cautious on just how confident I was. Well, and then, like I said, she was eighth in line, and I think seven or six of the seven dogs ahead of her all got up and just bombed. I mean,
Oh wow.
just there was this cover on the right hand side that was pulling dogs to it. Um, and they just bombed that portion of the test. So when you're confident and now all of a sudden you see a bunch of dogs that should be
Of
in
a caliber.
should be in a relatively same caliber as my dog that are just bombing it, it's like, oh man, here we go.
So are
Well,
you talking like where like the land kind of pops out, not like a peninsula necessarily, but it's like cover that's
kind
just drawing their attention
yeah,
instead
so
of swimming out?
there was a center point that you had to send your dog from, and then on both the left and the right sides, probably 50 yards away, there was these two little peninsula tits or
Hmm.
whatever you want to call that stuck out. Well, the one on the right had a ton of cattails and a lot of grass. And my opinion of it is if the dog did not understand the concept that it had to swim out in a straight line for the blind retrieve, and the dog just thought, well, I just got to swim to another shore to find the
Sure.
duck. I think a dog would get up there and see all that cover over there and think, that looks like a good spot to find a duck. So
Yeah.
that was immediately, and there's different, you know, that test portion kind of caught a lot of bad flack because of that. But my perception of it is if the dog did not understand the concept, that was a good way to
It was
hang it up.
easy.
Yeah,
It's an
kind of
easy
an
mistake
easy
to
out.
make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I get up to the line and knowing that pretty much every dog ahead of her has gone right and drawed her to the right. So I get up there and line her up left, angled to the left a little to just to
You're
try to
playing the
keep,
hook.
yeah, and try to get that out of her mind a little bit, so she's not looking at it. Yeah. Well, what do you know? I send her and she goes straight just like she's trained and is heading too far left. I'm like,
Oh
oh
no.
shit. Well, on the other side to the left, there was more cover. And I'm like, great. I hope. And there's wild
I just
ducks.
screwed this up.
Yeah. There's wild ducks that can screw this up too. And no dog had been over there. I'm like, oh, great. There's going to be a wild duck over there or something that's going to get her all screwed up, and she hits the shore quite a ways left of where the duck was. And I'm like, oh, man. Well, she checks to the left a little bit, but then she worked her way back up the bank to the right and grabbed the duck and swam right back to me. So
That's
she
awesome.
just, I mean, absolutely nailed it. Like I said, I almost hosed her, overthinking it.
That's how it works. Handlers
Yeah,
usually screw this up.
yeah. But so that was, I mean, that was huge. The first aspect of the test, the one I'm the most worried about, we go out there and just, she absolutely nails it. And, especially having 6 of the 7 dogs ahead of her, that tank, I mean,
Right.
it's only human nature. A judge is
Feeling good.
going to take that into consideration, so,
Sure.
um, but
Well,
yeah, I
that
mean,
kind of takes the pressure off, huh? I mean, like,
oh,
I'll bet the rest of it was a lot more enjoyable.
oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if that would have went south, I mean, I wasn't there to just have a respectable performance. I mean,
Right.
we're, I go to this shit to win, and
Right.
if I don't think we're capable of winning or capable of passing or whatever, I wouldn't be there. So,
Right.
um, so yeah, that was huge. And then from there we went to, they do an honor where you set the dog next to the shore and they launch a duck just pretty much 10 feet in front of your dog, and they send another dog on a retrieve. So it's basically just tempting that dog
Oh,
to
sure.
break. It's all an obedience thing. And she when I've done this in training, she doesn't even move. Like I tell her sit. I mean, and she looks at me like and yawns like she's bored. Well, what do you know? She danced the jig in that circle. She never
Oh,
made any forward progress, which is, it's all good as long as they don't advance at all. But god damn it, of course she had me sweating, because her feet are up there
your
just,
heart's pumping.
yeah, I'm like, you don't do it. You haven't even thought about moving all training and now you're gonna do it. But she stayed in place, and yeah, we moved on to I think from there we went to the double mark, and she nailed that. And then the field portion. So this was in New Mexico, and it got up into the 90s. So the
Oh, so it
field,
was warm.
yeah, it was warm, and we didn't run our field until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, and I had heard grumblings from other people that have run their fields. I mean, and everybody was struggling with it. I mean, dogs were having a hard time finding birds because it was hot and dry and no wind.
Oh,
And
yeah.
but that should be her strong point. So I'm kind of thinking, well, even if things don't go perfect, we should still be all right. And
Right.
I mean, she pretty much put on a show. To be honest with you, I was a little bit disappointed because the birds weren't wanting to fly, and out there isn't like really thick grass. I mean, there's just like these bunches of mesquite, so the dog that's on point can see the bird, and the bird
Oh,
they didn't want to fly, they just wanted to run away. Well, that's super tempting for a dog to want to chase
to
after
just
it.
creep.
Exactly. And so she looked kind of bad in a couple situations, but I mean, from the people that were in those fields all day, I had numerous people tell me that she was the nicest dog they saw all day. So I mean, that's a pretty big compliment, and
Heck yeah.
I don't take that lightly. So, um, like I said, I was kind of hoping she'd put on a little bit better show in that aspect of it, but given the conditions and everything else, she did great and scored out real well in that too. So, um,
So
yeah,
what's
we
a
ended
perfect score?
200. 200. It's so confusing how their multipliers and everything work. So in each aspect, and more than aspect, I mean, there's like 10 different categories that the dog is scored a 1 through a 4 being the best. Um, and there is, I think, 3, like their use of nose and their desire, they have to score a 3 or better in those. Pointing, I think they have to have, or they have to have a 4 in those. Dude, it's so
So there's
confusing.
a threshold
Yeah, there,
for each like
but
subcategory.
say pointing, your dog gets a 3, it's automatically not going to pass. It doesn't matter if it has 198, a score of 198.
Oh, gotcha.
There's some minimums for a few of those things, but yeah, she got a 200, which was perfect. That was 4s all the way across the board. And I think the pass rate for that test, I want to say there was like 130-ish dogs that ran throughout the Thursday, Friday, 4 days. I think the pass rate was about 20%, I think. And she was one of only, I think it was less, like 3 or 4 or 5 dogs that got perfect scores out of that 130-ish dogs. Awesome. So yeah,
that's got to make you feel good, man.
It does, man.
That was a lot of hard work.
It's a few year process, and yeah, it's very.
She's 3, right? Didn't you say?
She just turned 4. Yep, just turned 4.
Oh, she turned 4 on the trip, right?
Yeah, the day before the test, she turned 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun,
man.
And my wife and kids were there when the scores were read, and so yeah,
that was next cool on my list. I wanted to know how your family reacted because I know this was like a big family trip.
Well, you know how kids are. I mean, we were probably
their dog did awesome.
Yeah, but they kind of lost interest in the whole reading the scores thing after about the first 2 dogs. So we got 2 kids that are over playing in the dirt, and not even paying attention, about 10 minutes into that ceremony. But it was still cool, I mean, they could sense how happy I was, and
right.
And my wife too. I mean, she knows how much work we put into it, so the kids can sense that, so.
The wife knows how much work you put into
it. Oh, yeah. She knows firsthand. Yeah.
She's like, I hope this works out.
Mm-hmm. She knows
Speaking
firsthand.
Of hoping stuff works out, I wish people could see Buddy right now.
I know it.
This is about the greatest way to do a podcast. I need to figure out how to do that. Can you hear us, Buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I don't know if it's recording you. I can't see you on the record, but
it says it is.
Then we should be good.
Well,
Buddy's probably just sitting in his driveway looking into the neighbor's house.
just dress up.
He's just spying on the neighbors.
It's all for show.
Oh, what a beautiful clear cut. Yeah. Fog just lifting. Cool, crisp morning.
I just bumped.
It's missing one thing though.
This thing, as I pulled up here, it's a little spot I figured it'd be a good spot to sit on. And I watched 2 deer run. I didn't get to see what they were, but I just watched. I was hoping to sneak in here and not bump the deer so I could watch them and then wait for a buck, and we'd have a live.
Then the truck had other plans.
It didn't work out.
Dude, we saw a stud coming home last night. I went hunting. I mean, like Southern Oregon's kind of known for big blacktails. The like the Applegate unit and the Rogue unit and Evans Creek, and like all those are kind of like the legend of the bench legs. And this thing was running down the road in front of my truck, and I'm like drooling. It was so massive, big old swamp donkey, like the slow walker or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
that's what Buddy's waiting.
Yeah,
maybe you'll find one. Yeah, he passed on one yesterday, didn't you?
Well, yeah. So me and Bradley passed one last night. Little butt. If it had been much bigger, he probably wouldn't have. But it was a little dink spike just stood there looking at us, and
still milk on his lips.
I've seen 7 bucks so far that I haven't shot, but they're all little spikes and a little fork and horn. Around here, Ross, on blacktail, I tell guys, if you want to shoot a deer, you better shoot the first buck you see.
Yeah.
And then if you want to shoot a nice one, you better pass quite a few spikes and little fork and horns. And sometimes those things don't go together. Like you might only see one buck.
Don't end well.
I know. I know a lot of guys that just don't see any deer hardly all season. It seems like, for blacktail. But
it's like the tag soup to big buck ratio. Like it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Especially those last couple days of season. Did you guys? How long do you have left? The end of the month.
Our first season goes to the 31st. So
do they get pre-rutting by then, or are they rutting?
they should be. They should. I mean, I've watched some does that are flagging. So I mean, it should be soon, but I haven't seen anything cruising. Like a lot of fawn. If I see a lot of fawns, like seen a bunch of fawns this morning, does and fawns. I don't really mess with those too much. If I see a doe with a fawn, I just move on. But there's a couple holes that's got some does that look like they're in heat, and I've been kind of keeping an eye on them.
So they must be on pretty much the same schedule as a whitetail then, because our whitetails here should be in about the same deal. The rut should be starting here. And in fact, driving around at night's about like running the gauntlet right now. Seems like
really?
the deer are everywhere on the roads. So yeah, usually they say Halloween. A lot of big bucks die on Halloween here because that's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty prime rut there.
Yep, and that's kind of the plan. That's our last day is Halloween. And then we have a late season after that, like November 15th. But every time I come up, want to go hunting that November late buck, I get so pissed because there's so many hunters out. Everywhere there's a hunter on every corner, and so I normally either I'll do one of two things. Either I'll get out of my truck and hike, and get into some ground where the guys won't be, or I turn around and go home and be like, screw this shit. Too many people. I just get tired
of take a nap.
Yeah.
Go cat hunting somewhere.
Exactly. I've done that. Just be like, yeah, that's bullshit, and go grab the dogs and go hunt. So, yeah. I don't know. So you're talking about your hunt there in New Mexico, huh?
Yeah, the test. Yep.
Are you still up in Montana? You said you were.
I got back last Thursday.
Oh.
From
how'd that go?
Bird hunting out there. It's fun, man. I love bird hunting out there. I mean, there's some bird hunting that I'd like to do to check it out, but as far as the bird hunting I've done thus far, that's been my favorite. The country it's huge. It's huge. I mean, it's not like pheasant hunting where you pull up and there's a creek with thick cover on each side, and that's where the birds are going to be. I mean, when you're out there, you stop and look and you can see for miles and it's all the same shit,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a ton of birds, but there is a lot of places they can be, so
dispersed.
Yeah. So open ground, like that eastern Montana?
Yeah. Yep. Northeast corner. Yep. It's all pretty much wide. I mean, they got some bluffy stuff, with some trees and whatnot in it, but for the most part, the birds are out in the grass prairies, and yeah, it's huge. I mean, you don't know how far you're going to walk when you start. I mean, you'll see a hill up there that look like, oh, that hill would look good, and well, shit, you didn't realize it, but that was a mile away. So you get out there
later.
Yeah. And then you get out there.
Perception.
No, you get out there, and then there's another one. It's like, oh man, maybe we should go check that out over there too. It's like, well, shit, that was another 2 miles. Pretty soon here we are 4 miles from the truck, and it can
for a bird.
For a bird. Yep. And you can just go forever. It's cool. I really enjoy it. Worst part is there's no water anywhere. So
really?
Yeah, we're leaving the truck with a couple gallons of water on us, because you just don't know what it's going to turn into. And
how many hills you're going to see?
Exactly.
Like, well, this is for the first hill. This second gallon's for the second hill we see.
That's a houndsman thing, I think. just over that hill.
Yeah.
I remember telling Danny that one day, like, just over that hill. About 3 ridges later, she's like, I'm about done with this.
Oh, and a lot of times the water is your determining factor. Like, shit, we're halfway out of our water. I mean, we better start working our way back to the truck,
Yeah.
But yeah,
what kind of birds were you hunting?
Mostly sharp-tailed grouse, and then Hungarian partridge. There's a lot of pheasants out there too, but I try to stay away from those running bastards. But it's hard because there's so many of them. They just run a lot. They don't hold tight a lot of times. So I look down and my dog's 400 yards, 500 yards, 600 yards. It's like, oh, you stupid bitch. And then all of a sudden
Just
you'll see
bumping it.
Well, yeah, then you'll see a rooster flush way out there. It's like, well, there goes that, But whereas the Huns and the sharptails don't run like that. So generally they go on point and the bird's there.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you gotten Sadie back out, buddy?
No,
Since your last trip?
Not since the last trip. I need to.
So you're wasting time deer hunting.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like blacktail hunting. I really like. This is a time where we kind of put meat in the freezer and stuff like that. So it's like, you gotta.
Yep.
I mean, I do enjoy this, and I got elk season, and after that, I'll hit cats pretty hard. But there is a moment there where I'm like, I could just. And the other part is, I take the dogs out right now. There's so many deer hunters in Oregon.
Sure.
That
it's ruffling feathers, and
it's not enjoyable because you're gonna run. Most of the guys are pretty cool, but you do. It is stressful. You know what I mean? Like wondering if
for sure.
If you're going to trail through somebody's hunt or whatever.
Yeah,
so
you always got that in the back of your mind.
You're on edge.
Yeah. You just don't relax as much. So I try to lay off a little bit. I may still go out, but I'll pick and choose when I go. Maybe go during the middle of the week. Try to hunt an area that, I mean, may not even be a really good cat area, but just try and stay out of a good deer elk area. Just to get the dogs out.
Get some feed on them.
I had one guy. I was up there camping in September. He was elk hunting, and I seen him coming down this intersection. I stopped. Wait for him to get there. Just find out where he's going. I could tell he was hunting, and boy, this guy, he was kind of a dumbass in the first place, but. Pulls up and he's like, "Don't you think it's conflict of interest? You be hunting up here when it's elk season?" And I'm like, "Well, not really. It's cat season too. But I just want to know where you're going so I can go the other way. You pick whatever area you want to go, and I'll stay the heck out of there. That's why I said that's why I was sitting here waiting for you. Oh well, I just hunt wherever. But I'm like, well, if you know wherever you're going, you just point that direction and I'll go the exact opposite. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I'm just out here to get my dogs out, and I'm not here to interrupt anybody's hunt. You get of course, then, he wants to sit there and talk, and, well, I'm just looking for a meat bull. I normally don't shoot meat bulls, but, this year I just need a meat bull. And I'm thinking,
unless they walk in front of me, and then I kill them 100% of the time.
Right. I'm like, he must have said meat bull like 5 times, and I'm like, well, any bull's a meat bull to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
right.
If it's a legal bull,
no kidding.
I'm not exactly a trophy hunter. So, boy, but he, then he just wanted, well, you're out here all the time, because I told, he's like, well, when you come out, I'm like, I've been out here camped up here every weekend, since the first of the season. I had a camp up there. I just left up there. He started toning down when he found out that, number one, I'm camped up there, and I've been camped up there for 3 weeks, Number two, I knew every single camp in the area, and all those guys were elk hunting. You know what I mean? And they're like, and they're cool with you just can't. I'm like, yeah, like they don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
we're not chasing elk.
Yeah, exactly. My dogs won't mess with elk. And then he started, toning it down when he's like, because I was like, yeah, there's a camp over here, there's a camp over there. All these camps are hidden in the woods and stuff, and. Oh, but yeah, that was the one that it was towards the end of the season, and it seems when they get desperate, when they aren't seeing anything, that's
they're looking for a place to put that blame.
Yeah, that's when I'm like, okay, things are getting uncomfortable. People are really, in the beginning of the season, they're like, oh, right on. I'm like, yeah, I seen some tracks back there. There's some elk to cross over here or whatever. I'll just give them some little bit of intel if I can. They're all happy, but at the end of the season, when they look desperate, that's the ones where I'm like, I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Yep, hounds is a good place to pin the blame.
Yeah. You see some of them videos with elk and shit and hounds trailing right next to them and like
never move.
But I don't know. Everybody has their own opinion. So
it's always weird. Like down here, the first couple of weeks, I'd try to stay out. Or, I mean, I hunt at night anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And, you know, in the old days, you'd have people pick your dogs up in the morning if they were still running. But now with the Garmins and stuff, you know, you can just pick them up and go.
Yeah.
So we've been hunting since season opened. You know, it's been nice this year to at least get out. And we haven't even ran into a bunch of hunters. I've noticed, I mean, our hunters around here, we probably have ran into a third of the trucks that we usually see on the mountain.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know if gas prices got people home or what. What about you up there, buddy?
Hit or miss. I've probably in this area. I think I've seen 3 rigs this morning, but yeah, the weekend's pretty rough. But that's why I like the weekday hunting. It beats going to work.
Yeah, I
bet. I'm with you, buddy.
I'm checking out.
I'm working today. I'm working right now, Jason.
You're working my.
Yeah, sitting in his driveway looking at his neighbors.
Binoculars up. Drinking coffee. Nice mug you got there.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we Ross, you get so your guys' season doesn't go into the deer and elk. I mean, our deer season,
No, I mean, technically we could start running bobcats then, but for one thing, most times we don't have the snow to do it. But it's kind of just a good rule of thumb, you know, because we have a 9-day gun deer season here. It goes from the Saturday before Thanksgiving until the Sunday after Thanksgiving. I mean, and
no shit. That's your gun season?
Yeah. Yep. Then we have a muzzle. Wow. There's a week of muzzle loader season after, but you know, the 9-day gun deer season in Wisconsin, I mean, that's bigger than any holiday pretty much, you know, if you grew up in Wisconsin. Yeah, that's just what you did. So it's I mean, I don't think it's technically illegal to be, you know, running hounds during that time. It's just not a good idea.
Not comfortable?
You know? No.
You don't want your house burned down.
No, you're going to cause problems. And so it's just kind of unwritten rule that you stay out of the woods. And I actually, even during that muzzleloader season, that goes for the following week after too. I mean, I'll really be careful where I'm at then, if I go at all. You know, just, man, deer hunters are nuts, man. They're crazy about what they do. And I mean,
coming from dog people, those guys are nuts.
Yeah, exactly. So we try to stay away. And even grouse hunting, you know, the bird dogs, I mean, you know, you don't got, your bird dogs are always within 100 yards from you, but I wouldn't go grouse hunting during 9-day gun deer season unless it was on my own land just a little bit or something, you know, because people take that pretty serious. And yeah, I'm not a serious deer hunter, but I grew up in that culture and I get it. You know, one thing that aggravates me is bow season goes from first weekend in September until January something, and you still got some of those guys that are
holy cow.
Yeah, you still got some of those guys that in end of December and January
the whole time,
are mad.
Like that, their whole like a continuous
4 months
season.
Yep. I mean, if you only get one tag, so if you happen to whack a buck in September, you're pretty much done. But that bow license you get, I don't even know when it is in January, but it goes into January, and you'll get some of those guys end of December. Oh, I'm bow hunting here. I'm like, dude, you've had 4 months. You're telling me
they're getting desperate, Ross.
That's
what he's talking about.
So you're telling me it hasn't worked out for you in 4 months, but today was the day that I just screwed up for you? Like, I'm not sure I'm buying that, you know?
Exactly.
Oh,
Wow.
Desperation has an awful stench, man.
Yeah.
So
sure.
if you got your bow tag, can you still hunt that rifle?
Yeah.
Tag, or
So
you got to
the
pick?
bow and the rifle is separate. No, you can get one of each.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You can kill
Yep.
2 deer, one with a bow and one with a rifle.
Correct. Yep. And there's some
Oh man.
zones around the state where where the deer are heavier populated. I think you could even get more than that probably.
What's your deer restrictions? What do you got to shoot over there?
Nah, just a legal buck, or then we also have antlerless tags too. So
any
I
buck?
think a legal buck is any buck over an inch, I believe. So that's what
Okay.
I shoot.
That's,
If it's
that's
over an
rough
inch, she's going down and going in the freezer, and then I'm going to hunt something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I had one this morning. I had 2 little bucks this morning, about an inch or 2. I'm like, God, but they're so small. They sit next to that doe, and I'm like, God, you know what I mean? That's 40 pounds of meat. I'm like, I can go fishing.
Maybe.
I can go I can go catch a fish for that much meat. I might as
Yeah,
well.
no kidding.
Not
Oh,
big
That's
boy.
what we did. We shot that. I ended up killing a fork and horn with the kids opening weekend.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, I got 9 days of vacation during this season, and I'm gonna burn this tag on a fork and horn. But I made 2 boys' day, and then we went fishing, and I came home and I said, boys, we got double the amount of fish almost we got off of that deer. We were slaying the salmon, man.
Yeah.
I usually buy a doe tag or 2 as well, because I'll get my kids to come out hunting with me, and it's always fun to shoot something with them with you. So I'll have a doe tag or 2 in my pocket, and if I got one of my kids sitting with me, and I see a lone doe or something, well, I'll send her to live with Jesus too.
Boom.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
Well, the bears are done for you, right?
Yeah, we got done second week in October. So yeah, that's been done for a couple weeks, and 2 days after bear season was over, I was packing up and heading to Montana bird hunting. My wife was thrilled.
Mine. Now, so you guys hunt deer out of a blind, a ground blind, or how?
Yeah, most of it's tree stand hunting. Yeah.
Oh, really? When we're driving to convention, we drive past a lot of like stands, like huts and stuff.
House stands, yeah. Oh yeah. You better believe I got one of those
heaters.
too. Hell yes. Yeah, that heater feels pretty damn nice. And I got a hard time sitting anyways. And if I'm cold, then there ain't no way I'm going to be out there. So, yeah, I just can't sit still. That heater will buy me a couple hours anyways. And we try to move them around
the private
bit.
property. I mean, is it because of the private property you just don't have the big land to roam? I mean, like, explain the whitetail.
I think it's been a big kind of shift in theory or whatever you want to say here throughout the last, 20-ish years. People, and it kind of goes along with dogs, kind of the same line of thinking. Some people think a dog runs through there and you're scaring all the deer away. And same way with moving them around. I think they think like you push out, because we'll do what we call drives. You have 3 or 4 guys walk through a section of woods, and you'll have a couple people posted up on the other end, and just try to get deer moving around. And when I was little, I mean, we did a ton of that, and I actually liked that part of it. Getting out and walking, and you only stand in one spot for an hour or whatever it is, and then you'll move to a different section and move that. But people have just, for whatever reason, have gotten away from that. Everybody thinks you just got to sit there and wait for that big buck. And I think in a lot of ways it's kind of hurt the deer hunting a little bit, because the deer don't have to move, and they know they don't have to move. So they just wait till it's dark and then go hit a corn pile or a food plot or whatever,
I would wonder if that would work for blacktail. I think you'd walk right by some blacktails. I think
they just hold down.
I think they'd
there looking at you.
I've watched watched in glass. Not always, but especially a good buck is just going to hunker down. Where they're at. I mean, they'll let you walk 20 yards.
And whitetails will do the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. Or a lot of times when we do one of those drives, you'll have to have a stander, somebody posted up behind you, because they'll try to squirt out and go the opposite direction. Yeah, slip out the back door on you.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah.
But I know people that have been the ones that are pushing and have walked right up and shot a nice buck laying in its bed, because it's just, kind of under a blowdown or something, and just trying to hold tight and let you clear out, Yeah. And I'm sure there's a bunch that you walk by that you don't even know they're there. But that,
so Mike
the same
killed
thing happens.
Mike killed a buck Friday last week, and it was a good. I mean, not like it wasn't like a trophy, you know what I mean? But it was a good. I'd say it was a good mature black fork and horn. You know what I mean? Like good girth. You got a pen lead fork and horn. This wasn't one of them small fork and horns. This was a really good. It was. I mean, starting to make a 3-point. You know what I mean? It was looking good. Anyways, I was at work, and he called or texted or whatever, and so I went up to help him, and he had blood. He watched it knock over. You know what I mean? He's like, thought he had it down, and he said it got up and ran off, and he had blood. So I was like, well, just don't push it and all. This is the first year we can use dogs to blood trail here in Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, Sadie, come on. This might be a bad idea, but we're gonna go. If I figured she'd be gamey enough that she'd help me find the damn thing. Well, I get to the gate and I come in, and I get a message on the messenger, the new Garmin messenger, and he's like, he's still alive. I watched it. I just bumped it. He ran off into the timber, and I'm like, shit, So anyways, like I said, I'm like, well, you can't go now. You know what I mean? Now that it's not alive, I don't want you chasing it all over the county. Well, we got in there and found out where he was bedded. The second time or the first time he bedded down. There's a little bit of blood there, and well, we could find one drop of blood. I mean, and he shot it in the neck. I mean, Mike's like, I could see that he was hitting the neck. I could see the blood on the neck and shit. And so I'm thinking, okay, this guy will be bedded down. Well, I'm basically on my hands and knees, looking for blood. We found one drop of blood right at the entrance of the like old growth timber. You know what I mean? Like good mature timber, and nothing since, nothing. And so we're going 10 feet at a time and glassing, binos out, glassing. You know what I mean? Trying to find this, find this thing before he sees us. Of course, we bump it again. I think we bumped it. He bumped it once. I got in there and we bumped it and watched it, watched the direction. I could see its ass. I didn't have a gun with me. I just grabbed, I had a pistol, but nothing, it wasn't my deer, so I wasn't going to shoot it. I just helped Mike recover it. And I mean, it is amazing how close you are before they jump up, and it's like, oh shit, it's right there. I mean, it's like a grouse
riding it.
And same thing, and then you watch it disappear, and you're like, it's just got to be right there. And so you regroup and circle, looking for blood. You know what I mean? Just looking for anything in this. In the we got a lot of ferns here and stuff. So the cover is pretty tall. Well, so I start second guessing myself, like, am I really where I think I saw the damn thing? You know what I mean? Like, look. So I'm going back to the first drop of blood. It's about 150 yards behind me to try to find a track. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, there's got to be blood here. So if I can get to that point and then get to the next point and just try to, because it's going to be raining. So I'm like, crap, this rain comes, we're really not going to find blood.
Yeah, you're toast.
And then about that time, I hear Mike. I know where he is. And, he's 100 yards off. I'm like, all right, let me go back over to Mike. Well, he had jumped it again. He's like, the son of a bitch jumped up like 10 yards, you know what I mean, in front of me. He said it scared the piss out of me, and I couldn't even get my gun on it fast. You know what I mean? By 45 minutes, you're not at the ready anymore. You know what I mean? You're not like,
No.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What was that?
You can only stay at the
Yeah,
ready for
you're-
so long with no action. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. About that time, you got the gun back on your shoulder on the sling, and he says, I mean, he goes, no shit, it jumped up right there, and took off, and I'm like, all right, and so we wait another little bit, and you're at this moment where you're like, well, do I just wait and come back like 5 hours later? You know what I mean, 4 or 5 hours later, or do we just put and I told Mike, I said, well, I think we're gonna just stay on the pressure a little bit. This guy doesn't go very far. He only goes about 75 yards and then he beds back down. And I'm like, I don't think.
He's hurt.
I mean, he's definitely hurt. I mean, I'm like, he's not going anywhere, but I'm like, I don't think it's gonna get any better. I don't think we don't have any good tracking. We don't have any blood. I'm like, we're just gonna be freaking circling our asses off out here and hoping we find a dead deer. Maybe the dog, but I was with the range, and hell, I don't trust Sadie. You know what I mean? Sadie be like, hey, there's a grouse over here. So anyways, we did get it, and we got right to where he's seen it last, and we just started tracking, track for track. And
tracking.
But it's funny because you're glassing. You know what I mean? You're glassing for a buck. And when we seen it, no shit, it was like 10 yards away. And it's like, oh,
not
shit.
even looking that close.
You're looking over top of it. You're glassing right over the top of the son of a bitch. It's like, man.
I don't even need my binos.
But
like, better. You know where it's going to be subconsciously.
Yeah,
and
you're like, he's going to be in the timber. He's going to be looking back at me. He was laying right. I mean, he was pretty much done. We a little cautious moving around to get the last shot. You know what I mean? Put him down. Ready to jump back up again. But it was like, I don't know if he's going to taste any good. Yeah, but
be all stressed.
But all I had to say, those things can freaking hide, and it's amazing how much time you can spend walking past or around something.
Yeah. Or walk just past them. That's the big thing when I was like growing up and hunting. My dad always said, always check your shoulders. Because I don't know how many times over the years you'd be walking down a skid road or a logging road and look back and there's a deer standing 20, 30 yards from you, just watching you, chewing, eating breakfast.
Yeah.
And just hoping you're going to keep on walking on by.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. So your cat season starts up is what would get you in trouble with deer hunters, huh?
Yeah. Most people I know, I mean, I don't even really start thinking about cat hunting until second week in December. There's been a few times where we've got early snow where I've gotten out before that Thanksgiving week and did a little cat hunting. But even then, a lot of times our temperature's like, we might get some snow, but it's going to warm up to 45 degrees and we only had an inch to start out with. So, unless you would happen to hit a track right away in the morning and get rolling on it, the conditions will kind of deteriorate on us. And our swamps aren't really frozen that good yet, so if it walks into the swamp, a lot of that shit's just standing water. It's hard to cat hunt before December 1st here.
Like I said,
snow. It's happened to. Yeah. You know how that is when you just got a little bit of it and then it's going to warm up above freezing. Yeah. A lot of times you're kind of just wasting your time, but by then I'm pretty eager. So it's like, screw it. If it's a shit show, who cares? At least I'm out hunting.
We'll give her a shot.
Yeah. Yep. So I
that's the worst when it's only raining under the trees.
Yeah. I kind of just concentrate on bird hunting from now until that first week of December and then hope for snow after that. And then I'll get after the cats pretty good.
Yeah. Interesting. I need to try. It's so hard. There's too many hunting things to hunt. There's too many things to
I know
hunt.
it.
Sadie
Not
would,
enough time.
yeah, Sadie would be fun. I'd take her with me deer hunting, but I don't think it's legal to have a dog with you in Washington.
Sure.
And so I
Do
don't
you even have one with you?
I don't think so. I think if you it probably comes down to the technicalities of if it never left the truck or I mean I don't know what, but yeah, you're not allowed to have a dog accompany you when you're deer hunting.
Huh. That's weird.
What if she's a service dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Emotional
my
support dog.
anxiety.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the technical details. They had a when we were dragging that buck out, me and Mike, there was a doe that got killed or shot, and anyways, they just took the back straps, which pissed Mike. Mike's the one that found it.
Oh.
Anyways, long story short, we had the game wardens up there. I told him, I said, well, I'll be up there if you want me to show you. We can show you where that doe is. That they just cut the back straps out of, and yeah, it was, so it was texting them. I was like, yeah, we're still looking for this buck. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was gonna be, but I had Sadie up there. They didn't say anything. It was one of the guys that I'd caught a cat for before. So I mean, they knew it was hounds. I saw a dog box in my truck and shit. But Sadie was out, but I wasn't hunting. You know what I mean? Since I was recovering a deer, it's like, well, technically I'm not hunting. I had a rifle in my truck, but the shells were still in the box. I hadn't even loaded that gun yet. It was so early in the season. I was like, yeah. But Sadie was out kind of on our recovery mission. When we were pulling when we had a rope line out and she was there. Just, and they didn't say anything, but I half of me wanted to ask them about it, but
that's probably one of those gray areas.
Want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes you're better off not knowing the answer. Then you can play dumb in the future.
Yeah. So they didn't see it. It wasn't like I was hiding anything because we told them exactly where we were. You know what I mean? I was like, here's where I am. We're kind of close to where that doe was, and we can drive you over. As soon as we get this deer out, we'll just drive you over and point to where that doe is, so you can go take a look at it. Mm-hmm. Mostly what pisses you off is when they just cut back straps off and take a rear quarter out of that doe. That's just bullshit.
Yeah. Lazy.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. It's like, get out there and just 100% blatant waste. Like, didn't even take a thing off of it. Like, if there's a hierarchy of what pisses me off with deer poaching, that's at the top. Like, just drop them for no reason and just leave them. It makes me sick.
Yep.
Well, back in Oregon, they had those guys. Somebody was out there just shooting elk just to watch them drop.
Oh, man. Yeah, they caught him. He said, I just never shot an elk before.
Oh, really? They did catch him?
Well, are you talking about a recent one? I'm thinking of one about 4 or 5 years ago.
No, this is maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was, a guy just never killed an elk and just said, I wanted to.
No, this guy was shooting more than one and letting them.
Just drop.
Yeah, they were just shooting them just to watch them. Yeah.
That's a year's worth of meat. Like, for our listeners that don't know how big a freaking elk is, especially, like, are you still hunting rosies where you're at, buddy?
Yeah.
Or they're not Olympics, right?
No.
You got to go way up. Like, a rosie is a monster animal.
They're big.
I mean, some of those cows are 700 pounds. I know one season, my dad, my brother, and my uncle all drew cow tags, and I was the pack goat, and all three of them weighed over 700 hanging. I mean, they were just massive animals. It's like walking up on 700
hanging, like field.
Well, not hanging meat.
Oh, okay.
They were able to weigh them full.
Okay, come on, man.
To get them out.
Let's not exaggerate too much there.
No, they're probably about, I'm going to say 550 hanging.
No, you're probably 350 hanging.
Maybe.
That's still a lot.
I know live weight, they were like
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, they're big.
710, 7.5, 7.15, something like that.
The cows that we've killed, and normally when I have a cow tag, I'm like looking for the biggest one in the herd. You know, like
lead cow.
Yeah, well, I just look for a big one. Like if I'm going to shoot a cow, I want as much meat as possible. And I think ours hanging was about 330 to 340, and
a lot of meat.
That's same with the bulls, the 400 or whatever. It's a lot of meat. That's just meat and bones, no skin.
Yeah.
Maybe the back straps or something cut out, if I whatever, but I don't know. That moose, is that?
Sorry, that was my house.
Oh, okay. I'm like, well, shit, they're coming for me, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to hear a pounding on Jason's door in a second.
My neighbor called in on me.
You're probably going to hear the dogs here in a second.
So this weirdo is like glassing me right now on my Anyways, that moose, and he was a small moose. He was 330, but we had to debone him to come in the state. So just meat without any bones was 330 pounds, which is freaking ton of meat.
Yeah.
And then the other bull that was turned in was the biggest bull was 440 pounds of meat.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And
that's like a really dark meat, isn't it? Like moose is darker than elk or venison.
Yeah, I didn't notice that much.
Have you eaten any of it yet?
No, I got to go pick it up today. They said it was ready, so it was either yesterday or today, and yesterday was raining, so it was kind of really good blacktail hunting. So I was like, yeah, I should have skipped last night because it was getting a little windy, so I kind of wasted my time out here for that. But
that $6 a gallon diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
I had a pump the other day that shut off at $50. I'm like,
so you got 4 gallons.
Yeah, my wife's like, what is taking you so long? I'm like, I just ran this thing 4 freaking times because it was shut off at $50. What's the point of that?
Yeah, right.
I have a store here in town, the same thing, $50, and I make it a point that I'm like, I won't go. That's it. You just get 50. That's, you know what I mean? Like you could get a lot more.
I'd fill it up, but
you could have got more.
You're gonna go around the block and stop again. But yeah.
My new favorite is I go to the gas station, I'm filling up the Dodge, and I'm like, okay, we're probably looking, $80-$90. I had a quarter tank left, whatever. I give him $100 bill, and he's like, oh, we can't accept that. I'm like, dude, it's gonna take near all of it, if not all of it. He's like, well, we just can't take anything over a 20. I'm like, for God's sake,
I gotta pay by the gallon.
Fuel's
only
big,
1 gallon at a time.
$6 a gallon, and you won't take a hundo? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Are you gonna knock the 15 cents off a gallon? You're gouging me for using a card? Like, it's cash money. I don't know how else to explain it.
I don't know. Like, I had that happen at Subway, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I had a 50 or something, and it was like $56. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jeez, you guys are just passing out 50s and 100s. I think I need to start working for W.
Not by choice.
You guys don't even piss around with the 20s and 10s, huh?
Hey, it takes a 50 to fill up my Chevy Tracker, man. It's getting bad down here.
The same thing. I'm like, you got the sandwiches made, and my wife and kids were there, and I was like, well, I don't have anything smaller. Like I don't.
It's this or nothing. Well, Sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, my wife come in and saved the poor lady, the poor girl. Like, because I was like, you just gonna throw them away, or I mean, what do you want to do? Like,
I'll
she
just
needs
grab
her
by the garbage
$20 an hour. They don't pay out.
Yeah, it was one of them things. It was like they expect you to pull out your card or something. I'm like, no, that's not how this works, man. I'm telling you what. Like, I'm gonna call your bluff. Well,
I got cash.
My wife was behind me and proceeded not to call her bluff anymore. She's like, I'm like, no, really, I was at a stand. I had a line. I drew the line in the sand.
I was gonna
And
win this battle, babe.
This subway
Yeah.
attendant, exactly. You're cutting me short. The subway girl's gonna win my argument right now.
Yeah, it's crazy anymore. It's like cash is no good anymore, anywhere. Even all our fast food, it's like nothing over 20.
Well, and that's what I don't understand.
So 20s are the most counterfeit bill out there, you know.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, dude, anyways, I don't quite understand the logistics of it. Does anybody know why that is that they don't expect?
I think it's counterfeit. Oh, did you just see the look in Buddy's eyes right there, Ross?
I've been waiting for him to just pitch this phone and just bail out.
I watched his eyes go whoop and the binoculars go on.
False alarm.
It was a stomp.
It was a stump.
That's been there the whole time.
The whole time. I just noticed it. It looks like it's got 2 ears.
That's how it works.
Like I said, I bumped 2 deer off of this unit right here as I pulled in, and I wasn't able to see what they are. I'm pretty sure they were 2 does, but at least I didn't see a big rack running through the brush. But I keep looking for them maybe to change their mind and come back. I doubt that's going to happen. That's not how this works.
No.
Not when you're sitting there.
Yeah. Not having a podcast, but
I know. I just want to hear hold on a second.
Yeah. Kaboom! Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a spike right now just for the sheer
just for
killing
the
one on a podcast. I'd be like, that spike is getting smoked.
Your neighbor's really going to be pissed when you shoot a rifle out.
Whack it off the
porch. Oh man. Well, that was interesting. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to make it on the podcast. There was a lot of distraction between where I was and where to get here.
Well, I warned Ross. I said, Buddy might jump in here randomly. I don't know.
He might also not
be wondering how that was going to work too.
Ross says something to the effect of, yeah, and then have us catch him up on the whole podcast.
Yeah, probably. I joined. I kept quiet for a while. I was trying to figure out the layout.
Yeah, he was playing his background music.
Yeah, so you got your shirts there, Ross. Did you guys talk about shirts?
Man,
covered that. First thing,
good.
Yeah.
They actually came out really good. I was surprised.
I know. I appreciate that. You guys did awesome. I told Olivia, I'm like, Jesus, you don't have to rush this. And she emails me, said the prints came in, and a few hours later, I'm getting tracking numbers. It's like unreal.
I was kind of disappointed in Olivia because I was wanting to take it easy Friday. You know what I mean? Just like coast. And she's like, "Oh no,
you were tracking a deer on Friday."
No, this was. I don't know what day it was that we shipped.
2 Fridays ago. It would have been 2 Fridays.
2 Fridays.
2 Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was just wanting to be like, no, we can get Ross later. We'll get him next week. And Olivia's like, she don't like being bored. I'm like, I'm cool just chilling for a little while. I want to take it easy on a Friday.
Let me check my YouTube.
Damn it. Some of these girls, I'm like, they're like cracking the whip.
That's because if you don't take care of what you can today, it's guaranteed to be there tomorrow, but you don't know what other shit show's getting thrown in with it.
Oh, yeah, I'll just take it. Anyway. So even when we're there, I was like, yeah, we're good. We only got like another half. We can just do the t-shirts today and the sweatshirts tomorrow. And she just looks at me and she's like, they would kick me out of there. They don't even want me in there anymore. I think I'm more of a distraction.
That's a good place to be for you, though.
Yeah.
That's like when the wife says, don't even worry about doing the dishes anymore. You just screw it up anyways. Sounds good to me.
I was doing them this morning, and I could tell I was irritating her because I was taking a couple at a time. She's like, Laura's on a mission this morning. You know, she gets up. She's done work. She gets up early, works out. So she comes in about the time I'm mellow. You know, I'm just getting my coffee, whatever. And she comes in, she's been working out for an hour and a half, so she's pumped up. You know what I mean? She's like
jacked.
It's just a different
expects you to be at the same level. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, when she hammers
like,
in dishes, she's like throwing dishes in the. And me, I'm like this. Oh, look at that one. I'll go one at a time. Nice and quiet and smooth. I think I irritate the shit out of her when I do that. She just
when you do that.
she's like, I'll get the dishes. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm like, all right,
Perfect.
go hunting, sweetie.
Yep.
The best part is with the time change. I will say this: like the dog hunting's been awesome because you don't have to wait till later. Like you can get out there and get on one, and you think it's midnight and it's only like 9.
Right.
Yep.
And the deer hunting, you don't have to get up as dang early now.
Yep.
Oh,
That's for sure. That's one nice thing about this.
Right on.
Yep.
Well, do you have a cat tag this year, Ross?
No, it takes us. We're about 10 years to draw a cat
It's a
tag
long
here.
draw.
I know. I've got a lot of people call, so I got a couple first season tags, and we got 5 or 6 second season tags too. And I got more than I want.
And no
to be honest
pursuit.
with you.
No pursuit if you don't have a tag.
No, I mean, no, we can chase them without.
No, you can run.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we can chase them without. So
You
I
just
got
use
more.
it like a training season, right?
Correct. Yeah, I got more tags than I'd like because I like not having tags, and then plus I got some buddies in the northern part of the state and some buddies in the southern part of the state that we like to get together and hunt together some. But when you got tags to fill, I just don't end up having time for all that. So I got more than I want, and hopefully we end up with a good winter. You just never know. You guys know how that is. We'll be back to checking the weather app 3 or 4 times a day pretty soon. Just
hourly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope. Still no snow tonight.
Get yourself one of them messengers, man. That's what I did last night. It's like it started raining. I got on the messenger, hit the weather. I'm like, we're gonna be good in about an hour and a half.
I might have to. I don't know that I need.
They're pretty slick.
I don't know that I need anything else to help that anxiety part of it, though. You can't change the weather, so I don't know why the hell I look at it every few hours, but
yeah,
desperation.
Yeah.
Didn't we cover this?
Exactly.
Oh yeah. All right, boys. Well, I better try to go into work because I got to leave early to go pick up some moose meat. I had to go in yesterday just to pay.
So you'd be there to tell them hi.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I heard you were in to do payroll and then bailed again. I appreciate you showing up.
I was just going to say that.
Just show up for lunch. Just show up for lunch. You can do payroll while you eat lunch, and you can leave. We just got to. They wanted to get paid this week, Ross. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's weird. High maintenance employees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to watch out for us.
Nobody wants to work for free
I
anymore.
Think they're going to do it too. We had Alex. He up and left town on us, so we had to fill a spot. I'm like, it always happens, right? At hunting season, man. I'm like, that's when employees.
I got a little of the same going on at work right now, and I'm not looking forward to it because I think I'm going to have to pick up the slack, and now is not a good time of the year for me to be picking up any slack.
I get that, man. So what do you do, Ross?
I do commercial flooring, so we do like epoxy flooring and stuff like that, in a lot of food and beverage facilities and stuff like a lot of travel.
Beverage facilities. There's a lot of them in Wisconsin.
Does it always seem like employee issues are right during hunting season? That's what I'm
always.
I'm like
always. Yeah, if it's the springtime and there's nothing else to do, it's smooth sailing. But yeah, you get to hunting season and that's when the shit hits the fan, and it's like, son of a bitch, why? Why?
That's what I'm like. Stuart was asking me if I was going to go lynx hunting or something. I was like, over Black Friday, maybe. I don't know.
What? Whoa! Hold the phone. Back her up.
I was like,
go
Stuart,
lynx hunting.
I can't even entertain
out of
that.
the country. Black Friday.
No, I told him I couldn't, but Like I was like, Stuart, there'll be a revolt. I mean, there will be a serious revolt.
Uprising.
Number one, there's Thanksgiving. I mean, probably, it might there might be contention right there if I miss Thanksgiving. I might get away with it. I don't know. I broached the subject, but I go Black Friday right now, especially if I'm coming off of the moose hunt and then the deer hunt, the elk hunt. If I roll that right into Black Friday, I'm like, I don't know that I can make Black Friday work. And so, anyways, I don't.
Yeah, don't lose any more employees, man.
When we did that podcast about your kid's school there, the kids protesting, that we'll have to do another one about your employees protesting.
It looked pretty sad. There'd only be about 3 people out front running around with a sign.
Exactly.
Sometimes that's all it takes to get your point across. So if it's all 3, you're in trouble.
It's a really important 3. I'm going to tell you what, it's a really important 3.
The most important right now.
4,
I will say that.
Get back to work, sons of bitches. But 3, I'd be like, all right, what you guys want to talk about?
I'm all ears.
I'm remote, so it's way different. Like, I will give a mad shout out to everybody in the shop: Mike, Jess, Olivia, Buddy. Whenever he's not hunting, like the fact that the wheels do not fly off with a solid crew, like those guys are doing a really good job.
Yeah. If it wasn't,
that's not just me being nice. I mean, that's legit. The reason your orders get to you that fast are those 3 people right there.
Please don't be mean to them. Like
they can't. They don't want to deal with it. If you want to yell at someone, yell at me. I can take it.
No shit, man. With somebody, almost in tears. Where it's like whenever, and I don't know if we talked about this on another podcast or not, but at the point where some of the people in the shop are like, yeah, I don't want to deal with him. He's an asshole. And then the next person's like, no, I'm not dealing with him. He's an asshole.
Yeah, not like, me, boy. Yeah.
I'm hunting. So let's just.
You're Jason.
No, it's about that time. I'm like, okay, well, how much has he ordered? What kind of a customer is he? You know what I mean? Like, you better have a really good resume if you're going to be a jerk to Jess and Olivia. Because I'm looking at it like, can I afford to lose Jess and Olivia, or can I afford to lose this customer? And at this point, I'm like,
man.
I can drop a customer. I can drop this customer. I actually had to fire. I don't want to say fire, but I had to send an email basically saying, "Hey, man, we can't service your stuff anymore." You know what I mean? Like you gotta have to find somebody else.
It's not worth it.
You know. Yep. And a lot of it's on repairs. I'm like, dude, like, you'll have to go through Garmin or whatever, because we don't really make a lot of profit on repairs. You know, we kind of do that as a service. You know what I mean? To try to help you. And when somebody gets so pissed at us over trying to help them with service or our procedures, I'm like, dude, like, you don't need to do this. Like, it's not fun for you. It's not fun for us. And especially when I look back in the orders and I'm like, you have not bought a single collar in the last 5 years, and all we've done is repair shit for you. And it's like, yeah, you're going to be really pissed at us. And then normally what happens is you see them on Facebook and they buy another new collar from somebody else because they're pissed at us about repairing the collar. I'm like, what the hell, man? We haven't bought a collar from us in 5 years. All we deal with is your shit. And then you get mad at us and you won't buy the new stuff from us. So I'm like, yeah, normally those guys, I'm pretty much like, I'm okay letting go.
Yep.
I can appreciate, like, people can be upset. Like, I'm dealing with one right now. Like, it's a crappy situation on some repair stuff. But it's like, as long as they understand, we're like that kid pumping gas. It ain't our fault gas is $6 a gallon. Yeah. Like, and the ones that acknowledge that and are respectful, I'm going to tell you right now, I appreciate every one of you guys.
Yeah. You start yelling at the kid pumping gas, and it's like, okay, hey, we're not the fault here, man. Don't get pissed at us.
when I get mad at cell phone company or internet, whatever, I'll call and you get some nice girl. I'm like, just so you know, I'm about to ruin somebody's day. I know this ain't your fault. So if you just want to hand this up to somebody above you or whatever, I would recommend you do so. But just so you know,
it's about to get real.
Yeah, you're not going to have fun here. So I know it's not your fault, but somebody's going to get it today. So
yeah, I'm not feeling good today. Yeah. No, that's there's the tip of the day. Don't make Olivia cry in the shop or Jess mad, because your options are severely limited when that starts happening.
If you say, I don't want someone working on this, there might not be someone else to work on it for you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. And most of the time, I really don't want to be in there. I want to be out here in my driveway glassing over my neighbor's yard.
Hot tub.
Anyways, guys.
Well, good luck.
Well, Ross, we'll have to do another one
hunting.
We get the cat season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We'll do it for sure.
We'll do it. A couple tech tips. What's on Jason? What's on the plan for the podcast? You got the new. What's going to be the new one that we got? I just listened to that the other day.
What'd you think?
I liked it. It's different, definitely different. But I didn't listen to the first one. I haven't had time to listen to the first one, but I listened to the one you sent me. Was that guy a trainer of some sort, right?
Yeah, he's a dog trainer. Interesting guy. And the first one was really good too. I don't know if I can say a whole lot of detail about it now, but someone reached out to us about putting on a podcast, like hosting it for him. So, but he doesn't want to do it all like an every week thing. So it's going to be once a month. So we're going to end up giving one of our Friday launches to this new podcast series. And I think it's going to be really good. It's going to touch on a little bit broader spectrum than just hound or bird dog. Like it's all going to be kind of related as far as dog trainers or outdoor authors or biologists. It's just a real different approach. And I think it's going to be good. I know I've listened to 2 of his episodes and I don't find time to listen to podcasts other than ours pretty much. And I really enjoyed them. They were really good. So those will be probably starting to come out next month. Once a month, we'll have this new podcast running on a Friday.
Cool. Take a little heat off you.
November?
That's what I'm thinking.
Have you talked to him?
I'm thinking that Black Friday week, maybe we'll just get that one scheduled ahead of time.
Yeah, have you talked to him?
Yeah, we've been talking back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
He's working on getting some rights to the music and just tying up some loose ends, but we've already discussed bringing it on and giving it a try.
Okay. Yeah, I was, like I said, I listened to it. I don't know if it was yesterday morning or whatever, but it was, you got my thumbs up on it. I wasn't sure. I don't get to listen to a lot of podcasts, but
that's probably about as close as you're going to get to a pat on the back, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or the deer hunt was slow and I just needed something. But no,
who was I talking to yesterday?
What was that?
I was talking to Brett Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, man, I haven't even been able to listen to him when I'm hunting because we've been laid up. And when we go hunting right now, we are hunting. There is no not paying attention to anything because my tracker now smells like skunk. we had a bad trip out one night.
Nice.
I said, I'm on these things like a hawk right now. I can't even listen to a podcast. But he's working on some stuff too. We should start seeing, for everybody wondering if Brett's still alive. He's just still working like a dog, but he's got some stuff in the works right now and getting ready to do some interviews. So we should see some more Born 100 Years Too Late stuff coming. And then there's actually a really good one coming. Bear just had Kevin Murphy over there doing some hunting. And there's going to be a couple of podcasts there. They're really good. You know, that guy's a pretty killer dog guy. I mean, World's Greatest Small Game Hunter is the title, so there's some good ones coming up.
Good.
I haven't got one with my kids as a ace in the hole. We went to that field trial and
Oh
you want
boy.
to hear some honest kids.
Yeah. No filter.
It's pretty funny. Not at all. My oldest basically calls me out.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yep, there's some good ones in there.
What did he say?
He asked me a question. What was it? He says, how come Rose is such a good dog? And I said, well, I don't know, bud. Rose is just a good dog. I didn't make her that way. She is a good dog. I said, but you're not supposed to tell everybody that. Trying to stay humble. I said, you don't tell everybody like, hey, that dog's really good. He says, well, maybe you shouldn't put anything on Facebook about her if you don't want people thinking that. I'm like, dude, easy, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that was the one LeGrand podcast we got done because everybody ended up, I think Mark blew a tire or somebody blew a tire on the way to the trial. So we had these things lined up and then everybody was late getting in. And I said, well, let's grab the kids.
Just fell apart. Yeah.
Dying. Oh my God. They finally heard it. We did a rough mix down of it and their eyes just got like, this big around. They're like, I'm on a podcast. That's famous. Been their dreams.
I'm famous.
They're famous like Buddy.
Yeah. Well, not quite, but you got to start somewhere.
There's good stuff
Talking
coming.
About being famous, Jason, you'll get a kick out of this.
Speaking of.
Another story, tales of Buddy, hunting with Buddy. So I was driving. I don't know if they listen or not. I don't think they do. But I was driving up. Oh, this is Tuesday or something, maybe. Maybe I don't remember what day. It was a couple days ago. I come around the corner and there's a guy, he's standing on the road there, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, well, great. My daughter just shot her first buck. A little spike down in this hole, and he had his back surgery or something. His back was all thrown out, and I'm like, oh, right on. I said, we're just down that hole right there, And he's like, yeah. He goes, my wife's down there, with her. And I was like, well, do you guys need help? And just trying to.
What a nice guy.
Just like, well, I mean, shoot. I'm like, has your wife ever like dressed a deer? You know what I mean? Like, he was like, because I tell you, I sent my wife down with my daughter down to a deer. I mean, they're just going to look at it. You know what I mean?
Now what? Yeah.
Like, okay, well, maybe we'll just wait till Dad gets better before we do so. So anyways, I head down in the brush, Well, before that, he's like, are you Buddy? I'm like,
yes.
I'm deer hunting. I'm not even dog hunting. You know what I mean? I'm like
the icon of the North American wilderness. Me.
I'm like, yeah, that's my name. He's like, I said, how do you know me? He's like, oh, I just, I follow you on Facebook, whatever. So I think the kids might have gone to, I think actually when I was at that protest, I think they were actually some of the parents there in the protest is what I think. So anyways, I get down to the deer with the daughter and the mom, are you Buddy? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh,
when the wife knows, that's a different level.
What's that? Yeah,
yeah,
things are getting really uncomfortable up here in the part of the woods. I'm like, Jesus,
I can't go anywhere.
Anyways,
she wasn't the neighbor you're looking at, was she?
No. Oh, but I thought you'd get a kick out of that. I was like, I wasn't even going to tell anybody about that. I was going to keep it to myself because I'm like,
well, I got one that'll make you feel good too. Shit. We go out hunting last night. I'm gassing up, and this girl just keeps asking questions. Pumping our gas about, how many dogs can that thing hold? The box. I'm like, I don't know what's an acceptable answer to give somebody. Yeah. The real answer is 14, but I'm going to say 8.
You really
and that seems exuberant, right?
The politically correct answer.
She's just asking questions. Right, yeah. She's like, well, there's more over here. And I go in the store and I come back out and Brandon, I got Brandon and his kid with me. It's like, man, she was really interested because she kept asking, like, what is this? And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, like the W hunting supply. I see that on trucks all the time around here. Because we've got quite a few local hunters and they're all good customers. But she says, I've never seen this, with the vehicle wrap and all that. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, he works for him. Oh, that makes sense. So it's like, apparently our branding is hitting. The gas station attendants know who W is.
Oh, my gosh. I wasn't going to tell this story. I probably shouldn't.
But now you're gonna.
So that doe. The doe.
Missing backstraps doe?
Yeah, the missing backstraps doe. And it's not bad, I would just tell you. So anyways, there was a truck that they were looking for. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, this has been seen in the area, whatever.
Was it a gray Ford?
So yesterday, the game warden texted me a description of the only truck in the burn, that matches the color. And I'll preface it. The description of the person didn't match the description of the person. So the person didn't match, but it was like, oh, it's a such and such. I'm not even say the color, but it's a such and such color truck that has one of the permits. And the game warden's on the phone with me. He's like, what company do you own, buddy? I'm like, oh, it's W. He's like, yeah, there's a W sticker in the window. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Oh, dude.
Anyway,
those stickers get you in trouble.
He sends me the picture, and it wasn't the truck. I sent it over to the person. I was like, yeah, that's not the truck that was seen in the area. You know what I mean? Like it was, it wasn't. But I was sitting there laughing, like, what are the freaking odds of that shit? You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
you kidding me? Oh,
it happens. I had a guy call me one time, like these are the perils of putting your name on everything, right? Like there's 10 million bumper stickers rolling around, it seems like, with W on them. And I got a phone call one day and this guy's like chewing me out off the bat. Like, you need to get out here and move your effing car, blah, blah, blah. You're blocking us in. And, this was back in Plumtree days. I'm like, where are you at? He's like, you know where I'm at? I'm right behind your truck, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, dude, I don't think you understand. Like, this is clearly a Washington phone number. I'm from Oregon. My truck is in my driveway.
Right.
Oh, whatever. And I'm like, no, dude, this is a company. And this guy was like ready to come through the phone at me,
Yeah. I had a guy, same thing, called out of a sticker out of Texas. You son of a bitch, you better pull your ass over. I'm going to kick your ass. And I'm like, oh, yeah?
Catch me if you can. Like, click.
You
that
just
would
cut
have been
me
the best.
off on I-210 or whatever it was down there. And I'm like, yeah. I wanted to be like, yeah. Come catch me if you can, asshole. You know what I mean?
So what do people do when they see a Trump sticker?
So
They call him Trump?
Yeah, they call Trump. They're like, hey.
They call him.
But yeah, that's funny shit. But anyway, so yeah.
So be careful, Ross. Be careful with them shirts. See what could happen.
No
you get
kidding.
Those
I know.
shirts out there. Send me one.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do anything shady, I'll just make sure to throw that one on.
Be like, I'm sitting on a toilet right now, so I don't think you got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
this is derailing quickly.
It did. But yeah, I wasn't even gonna tell that story. I was like,
that's pretty good though.
The sheer irony just of it to being like, okay, you know what I mean? Like you pissed off and you're like, it's got the W sticker. Oh, perfect.
Well, hopefully it was that customer you just fired. So
yeah, exactly. That's nothing like that guy anyway. Oh,
it's all. There's certain instances it's not good to see your name pop up.
No, not.
What was the last time we saw it pop up? Northwoods Law. Didn't we?
Oh yeah, there was.
I give away a hat or something to some kid because he had our hat on.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
He wasn't poaching. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
But like,
You're like talking about somebody just cutting the back steps off a deer. You know what I mean? Like you just are like, please don't be my customer. Like that. I'm not cool with that. You know what I mean? Like if you're just going out there and poaching shit and cutting the back straps off, like.
And in Buddy's brain, he's thinking, who is it? And that freaking brain of yours is doing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. I'm like, what in the, I mean, you go from like just 100 miles an hour. Like, are you shitting me? Like it's got my sticker on the back. I was more relieved when I was like, that's not the truck. Thank you. You know what I mean?
That's a good law-abiding citizen.
Yeah. That guy is a cool guy. I don't know what he is. He's not a guy that would do that sort of thing. And apparently they sold the truck. So I don't even know if it's a customer that had the truck or something. I don't know. But and he kind of, like in fairness, the game warden knew that they didn't match the description, to the owner of the truck or whoever it was. So they kind of knew it wasn't anyways, but I think they were just poking me with it. Be like, yeah, we got this truck here, buddy. Look at this. It's your sticker. Oh, anyways.
Oh, man. I hope you find a buck. You can come back to work.
I got to find one between now and the driveway of my
Black
neighbor's
Friday.
House. Yeah. So. All right.
Thanks, Ross. I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Congrats on the title.
Yeah, man.
Now what? She just pleasure hunts?
There's a couple other things we'll chase a little bit, but that was kind of what I was most serious about. So in the spring we'll probably do a few more things and maybe try to add a couple other letters to her name, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Well, we'll catch up after cat season. Hopefully you guys get some snow.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah, have a good season. We'll talk to you, Ross.
See you, boys.